Okay. So today's class, let me recall yesterday we have done the concept of equation of continuity. A1 V1 rho 1 is equal to A2 V2 rho 2 if the fluid is incompressible. Generally all fluids are incompressible only. Fluid in the sense liquids are incompressible, but gases are compressible. So if the fluid is incompressible, then what happens is rho 1 is equal to rho 2 because the density doesn't change. Then what happens? A1 V1 equal to A2 V2, which is basically the equation of continuity. This is what. And equation of continuity is an outcome of equation, is just an outcome of law of conservation of mass. Basically, it's a law of conservation of mass. That's all. And I told you yesterday about streamlines, streamline flow. That's what is called as streamline. For example, so this is a river. This is a streamline. These are streamlines. You can see this red color line. This is a streamline. The blue color line. These are basically streamlines. Mean what is basically streamline flow? Yesterday, as I told you, at any particular point, the velocity is constant. It is the point that decides the velocity, not the particle. This point, for example, 1. This point is 2. Then any particle H2O molecule is going like this. When it crosses this point, it will always have this fixed velocity. That's all. Any other next coming forth more fluid particle also will have same velocity at that particular point, but not necessarily at the next point. For example, it has crossed forward, it has reached this point. At this point, it will have different velocity. Okay, so that is basically what is called a streamline flow, and it is our daily observation. If you see that a fluid flows like this, and in the flow, in between the flow of the fluid, if you place some rock or a stone, what happens? This fluid or liquid which hits the rock, what happens to it? It will form foamy whirls, like small eddies like thing. It will form like this. Small eddies it will form. These eddies are basically at the place where they hit the stone. These eddies are formed, and this is the basic reason for the streamline flow to be lost. The streamline nature is lost at the place where these eddies are formed, or when you keep an obstacle. Basically, if you see your textbook, no obstacle. If you place any obstacle, what happens? The flow would flow like this. Flow would get disturbed. It will go like this. Is it or not? The flow would disturb and go like this. So then what happens? It's no more streamline. It is now laminar. The flow that is not streamlined is called as laminar flow. L-A-M-A-N-E-R. Laminar. Laminar flow or turbulent flow. This nature of flow, nature has changed. Turbulent nature. Turbulent means what? Turbulent means highly haphazard. Turbulent is haphazard or uncertain velocities. So that is what is turbulent nature. Okay. Turbulent flow nature. As soon as it becomes turbulent flow, turbulent nature,
So
it gets
turbulent basically means spontaneous.
Spontaneous, or another way to understand this. For example, at this point, always I told you, no, same velocity earlier, but now it won't be the same velocity. Any particle going through this may have 20, may have 30 meters per second, or it may have different velocities. There is no particular nature. There is no particular equation that it will follow. That is called turbulent. Turbulence means what?
So what is laminar again? Can you explain?
Laminar flow means this turbulent nature. When they have this turbulent nature, the flow is said to be laminar. Okay. When the turbulent nature of the water, the particles comes, and that happens when does it happen? In two cases. Either you have to place the fluid, an obstacle in the path of the original fluid, or when the velocity of the fluid is above a certain critical value, velocity of fluid is higher than the critical velocity. The C is called critical velocity. When the velocity of fluid crosses the critical velocity of its nature, then the critical, if it crosses its critical velocity, that's it. Then automatically it will become turbulent. Automatically the flow will become turbulent. No more streamline flow, nothing.
So,
Okay.
sir, during like if it breaks the critical velocity, does that mean it will never like return back to the normal velocity?
Possible when its velocity may again become streamlined.
Okay,
Possible that
one more thing, sir. Like here we are describing it as a laminar flow, like when there is like turbulence in between the particles. But when there is no turbulence, like the normal turbulence, like less than the critical value, then what is it called?
if the flow is less than critical velocity of that particular liquid, it's not going to become laminar. It's not going to become turbulent. It's still
So
going
can you
to
explain this velocity of fluid and critical velocity again?
see at this point. At particular different points, they have different fixed velocities. No, here for example, there is a fixed velocity. Here is a fixed velocity. This is a fixed velocity. These are all v1, v2 fixed velocities. No, that fixed velocities with which this fluid flows, then it is said to be streamline flow. If it doesn't flow, when does it lose this nature? When does the fluid lose this streamline nature? Is if the velocity of the fluid is far higher. If it is in low range, nothing. It's always streamline only. Okay, it is streamlined only. If the velocity v is less than its critical velocity, even though you need not place any obstacle, nothing, it's going to be streamlined. But as soon as your velocity increases and crosses the critical velocity of that liquid or that fluid, suddenly it becomes turbulent. Suddenly it becomes turbulent. Suddenly that spontaneously it loses its steadiness and becomes turbulent. That means all the turbulence means what? At that point, at this particular point, you consider at that particular point, one velocity, one molecule, one water molecule is coming. It may have some 20 meters per second. Next also should have 20, 20, 20. No, it won't have. It won't have that 25, 30. Any random velocities it will become. Random velocities. But earlier it was not like that. No, earlier at this point P1, all particles crossing the point P1 were having the same velocity. But now they are not having the same velocity. They're getting different velocities. So that nature is turbulence. And this turbulence is because of the velocity of the fluid crossing its critical value, critical velocity. Understood? Or there is another way. There is a second way also it loses its streamline flow. The second way is when you place an obstacle perpendicular to the flow. When you place an obstacle perpendicular to the flow, you see this is an obstacle placed perpendicular to the flow. Originally the fluid was flowing like this. Original flow was in this direction, and this is the obstacle. As the obstacle is perpendicular to the original flow of the fluid, suddenly what happens? It hits the obstacle, and at that point where it hits, what happens is it will try to rotate like this. It will try to rotate like this, like a whirls.
One second, sir. These whirlpools are formed how? After it hits like perpendicular
Yes.
surface, right?
Perpendicularly when it hit only this will happen.
But
Parallelly
why
if it
does
is,
but why does it form whirlpools?
because it will suddenly cross its critical velocity. Suddenly at that point it crosses critical velocity. And again it
No.
loses.
Why only whirlpools? Why only whirlpools? Why not something else?
It could be going anyway, but isn't it common sense? When it hits there, well, how will it go? Which direction will it go? See, this is the direction
That I
of the.
understood, sir. But
See,
is there any particular answer for that question? Like logically, yeah, we all know that
yeah,
it will go into
logically, see, the
whirlpool.
thing is, here when it hits, no, it will have two velocity components. No? That's the reason. Mathematically, you see, no logic required here. When it hits, it will get two velocity components. One velocity component like this, one velocity component like this. Both, it is having two. Originally, if it were having only via x-axis velocity Vx is equal to v. Okay. But when it hits, that will split up into two components, because when it hits, no, at the point of hitting, the fluid tries to go in this direction. So that will split up as two components. No? Due to two component velocity, what is the only possible parabola? The parabola is the only possible path. No, whenever a mechanical body, even if it's not solid, even though it's a fluid, it has two velocity component, x component of velocity also and y component of velocity also. Then the only possibility is there to try to rotate as a circle, no? Not actually a parabola, but circularly it will try to rotate. There, local eddies, they're called as local eddies or local whirlpools will form. Again, only for a few microsecond. Microsecond means that whirlpool like thing will produce and again it will go back, go steady only.
The timing of the whirlpool depends upon the like velocity of water, right?
Initial velocity of the water or fluid that hit that obstacle. That hit the obstacle, and also
Yes, that is-
depends on several other factors also. Temperature, pressure, density of the fluid, several other factors. But basically, the major point is the velocity of the incident fluid, and also the shape of the obstacle. If the obstacle was like, see, like this, for example, like a aerodynamic shape, or it was like the, it was a shape. It is a shape like what do you call this? Like ellipsoid like thing. So it may flow like this also. May flow without creating an eddy. I think that's possible. Is it or not? It may not produce eddies. It may not produce whirlpools. It may go like this. That's also possible. That is what is called aerodynamic nature. No? Aerodynamic shape. We have Honda Activa aerodynamic shape, or some scooters which have aerodynamic shape, which are least cutting of air, we call it. The air flows just touching the surface. So sharp objects are there, sharp objects. Through sharp object, there is not much of friction. So turbulence will be less, least turbulence. That's why ships, aeroplanes, all are designed like that. At the point, at the sharp edge, a sharp edge will be there, so that they can easily cut through the air layers without creating much turbulence. Okay. Understood that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes,
next comes
sir.
the next important derivation is for your CBSC, especially for our IIT, which is Bernoulli's equation. Bernoulli. Very important. This is simply the outcome of law of conservation of energy. That's all. Simply law of conservation of energy. Earlier, equation of continuity was the law of conservation of mass per unit time, or flow rate of mass, dm by dt. It was simply nothing but dm by dt it was. Now this is going to be energy conservation only, simply conservation of energy. This is everyday observation. How do we get municipal tap water in our house? Because somewhere at the reservoir where they are pumping water into that big tube, a big tube with a very big area, and right in our home, in a small cross-sectional area, you're getting the water out. Yes. So this derivation basically is about velocity of input and velocity of output of liquid. Whereas here we are going to take one side where the velocity is entering or fluid is entering. We're taking that area is lesser area. We're taking the velocity, the place where the fluid comes out, that area, let us take that as bigger area. It's anything. You can take the reverse also. This is A1. What is this A1? A1 basically is the area of influx and A2 is the area of cross section efflux. Efflux. Efflux means outcoming. Influx means going. This is the area through which the liquid is going. Influx of some water or something fluid. I'm saying fluid means can be liquid also. And this whole water tube like thing is at some different heights from the ground surface. This is ground or reference line, we call it. Reference ground or reference line, we call any of it. Index line. This several ways we can say reference line, which is your level ground. So this efflux जहां से बाहर आ रहा है, that is at some height h2 and this is at height h1. Okay, यहाँ से velocity of the fluid entering v1. From here the velocity of fluid coming out v2. Now let us consider a section which is little uniform. This is not a uniform tube. You see, area of cross section A2 is bigger than area of cross section A1. No doubt. That clearly signifies that. That clearly tells you. This clearly tells you that V2 is going to be less than V1. Yes, because of law of or equation of continuity. Since A1 V1 exactly equal to A2 V. We know that. Yes. Now, yahan se when the fluid is entering from this point and coming out from some other point, let us take a small infinitesimal. Consider is small. In physics, we call this very small a name, infinitesimal, means very small. Infinitesimal, so very small element, which is little bit uniform over that little range.
So what is influx and efflux?
Influx means entry of fluid. Efflux means coming out. Efflux means exit of fluid. Exit. This word is
Okay.
exit. Exit of fluid. And this influx means entry. Entry of fluid. That is called influx, efflux. So these are the initial parameters. Now we have to consider a small element from this point where it enters. No, this point A1 area mein enter ho raha hai. So that small, I'm going to consider this small element, which is almost having uniform area. Small entry. This much hai uniform area.
So what do you mean by the infest, like a small infinitesimal thing? Like what are we
Infinitesimal matlab
referring?
बहुत small element.
Yes, sir, that I understood, but to what are you referring as infinitesimal?
This one, see, this which I'm drawing now, this colorful thing.
You're referring the area as infinitesimal,
No.
right?
This aerial element, this volume element, the small
Okay.
that's what I was about to write. Infinitesimal, very small element of the tube. Element of the tube. Which the tube should have some alphabets, no? So I will call this alphabet BC. I'll call this as DE. Okay. See a BC element. See that alphabet's also BC element, and there is another DE element. This is influx element. This is the efflux element. Okay. So understood now? What is your small infinitesimal element? BC, and there is this DE. If you're now you'll understand, I think, better. This color. No? Understood now?
Yes, sir.
Now from B to C, it has entered. What we are considering is from the point B to the point C, the area is A1, A1, A1 only. That is our assumption, that BC is sufficiently small such that the cross-sectional area doesn't change over such a small infinitesimal element. That is what it means, right? Understood? So the length BC, that means the length B to C is going to be what? Velocity V1 into the small time delta t, in which it has taken from B to C. So a motor has pushed the liquid from B to C. Okay. So B to C, it has traveled. So B to C, one motor has pushed the liquid. So work is done. Work is done on the fluid. Please try to understand and remember this word on the fluid, because it's very, very important notation. Work is done on the fluid. Remember in physics, work done on the system is positive. This is the sign convention. Work done on a block. What you push a chair. It's a positive work done. Understand? But work done by the system is negative. Remember this, very, very important. Work is done on the fluid. Okay, this convention, so that you remember, I am marking work done on is there, on the fluid whenever it is, because in chemistry this is reverse. Work done on the system is negative for them. Okay, in chemistry again work done on the fluid will come, not fluid, but in thermodynamics you'll see this word, this notation.
Yes.
So work done on the fluid is positive for us. Understood? So who is doing that? Motor. External motor is pushing it. The motor is pushing the fluid, or pumping, not pushing, pumping, we should say. Into, it's pumping the fluid into the pipe. Yes. So that is quite understood very easily. So the mass, small m delta M mass, that is pushed inside, is equal to what? What is delta M mass? Mass means what? Mass means density into small volume delta V, which you can clearly see. What is that? Delta V. This is only, what is delta V from this? Can you tell me? Delta V1 is going to be what? From here to here. Area A1 into length BC. So that means what? Area A1 into length BC means what? What is length BC? Length is equal to what?
Given delta t.
Velocity. Yes, very good. Velocity V1 into delta T. Yes, it's clearly visible there. So that means what happened here? Rho into, understood this, children? V1 delta T. This is the mass of the fluid that has been pushed inside by the pump. So this is work done on the system. Again, I'm telling you, work done on the fluid. The same mass will come out, no, expel. The same mass will expel, no. So the mass expelled or efflux in same delta t, time interval. Time interval is the same, no. So whatever entered only must come out, no. Expelled or from where? From A2 cross section. That is from where? DE element.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes.
Sir, like delta T, won't it be different for both the points? Because if you're like pushing water from one side, like assuming that it is starting from velocity 0, when you're pushing it, won't the particles not reach there in that exact period? Won't the time difference be different, like different for that one region?
If in 1 second, or 5 seconds, I pushed 5 ml of water into it, or 5 grams of water into it, mass, no, we're talking about 5 grams of water into it. Then the same 5 grams will come out in 1 second only, no, from that other end of the fluid. Where will it disappear then? Where will it disappear?
Not disappearing, sir, but it will take a little time for it to reach to that point, no, sir? Like where?
No, here is the, oh, I see. You have not understood this properly. Then. In between, oh, you're saying from here to here. Acha,
yeah,
thank God you asked this question. Here, all fluid is already there. This is entirely
no,
filled with
assuming that
water.
we just started the motor, assuming we just started
No. Then that's a totally different concept only. Up to water, time taken to fill up this pipe and all that we have to take. Thank God you asked. Now you understand?
Yes,
Janvi.
sir, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
He is thinking that the fluid has to go from this end to that end. No. Already fluid is in static equilibrium.
Okay,
Already
understood.
fluid static equilibrium. Now I think the diagram is good. No? Already the fluid is in static equilibrium. Now you are pushing some fluid into it, extra fluid into it from this end. Then what happens? This will push some fluid outside. Na? That is what we are talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you would have already taken that for granted, so I didn't say that. Now I think it's clear. Now what is coming is this pink color is coming out. This or yeah, you fixed, understood, right? B2C जितना हमने push किया उतना ही वो pink color से बाहर आ गया. Between fluid
It's the
is
same time, sir.
Same time, na? Same time.
Okay, yeah.
5 seconds
Okay,
में यहाँ से जहाँ तक what it has traveled, in 5 seconds, same 5 seconds में यहाँ से यहाँ तक it will travel. Since it is narrow end, that's why it's able to travel long distance. यहाँ पे जो wide end है, so less distance it is traveling. You see DC जो है, very small one you can see. But you see BC is very big. It's little longer. Is it or not?
Okay.
Understood that? Understanding and drawing it. Okay. Now is it okay? Now we understood. So B2C is little longer. C to D is, oh, it says 10 minutes. No problem. Right? So the element is same, right? No doubt, no in this. So what would that be, that the mass delta M from a flux from the DE element, from the DE that's coming out, same again density into its area A2 into what? Its length L2 into its time delta T. Yes or no? All are different.
Yes, sir.
Velocity, whatever. L2 means, that's what. If I write in L2, I'll write in velocities only. Velocity V2. This is the same as rho. This is what? What is this and what is that? This is rho into this volume, na? Understood, right? Is it clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, so that is the most important. So this is ये जो है rho. I will write this as delta V. Or you can, I'll write like this only. Now we know A1 V1 A2 V2. A1 V1 is equal to A2 V2. We know it very well from the earlier only. We know. Yes or no? So this is still here understood very clearly. Both of
Yes,
you.
sir.
Let us go to the next concept. This is the work done. यहाँ तक समझ में आया? Work done on the system. Work done. This is the work done by the system हो गया. This is work done by the system. Okay. Now when the motor pushes the fluid, it will push with some pressure, no? It will, when it pushes, it applies a force, pushes the fluid into the tube. Means what? It will exert some force, and that force will replicate as pressure. Is it or not? It will replicate as pressure. So that is with some pressure, no? With some pressure. With some pressure or force, what you call F1. F1 is F1 force, say it will move the fluid through a distance BC. Is it or not? So that will only replicate as pressure into area. Is it or not? So the pressure P1, this is P. Is it visible to you? Is it looking like rho or what? No, it's P amount. P1 into A1. This is force. Is it or not? With this force, it will try to move the fluid through a distance. This is only work done. Pressure into area जो है force into distance क्या होगा? V1 delta T. Yes, understood that? This is the work done, positive work done by the motor. Okay. Next, similarly, the fluid efflux from D to बाहर जो आ रहा है ना D to E from the tube other end. What is that going to be? Some other pressure, because here velocities are different, so pressure will also be different. Area is also different. So what is that going to be? P2. This is mass. I'm telling you again. The earlier one was mass we wrote. Now this is about work done I'm doing now. Understood that?
Yes.
Mass entered is equal to mass left. No, this is earlier case. No, I'm telling about the actual work done. P2, A2. This is the force F2, na? Into what distance it is traveling? V2 delta T it is traveling. Is it or not? Understood now? Yeah, this is force. This is nothing but what? This is nothing but F1 force into L1 distance. This is nothing but F2 force into L2 distance. L1 is nothing but what? B to C. So only for your understanding, I'm writing a small alphabet here. BC. Can you see that? जो L1 है इसके नीचे I'm writing BC. You don't write in exam like this. It's only for your understanding I'm writing like that. You don't write in an exam like that. Okay. Now is that visible? Okay. So this work, therefore, the net work done we want. Net work done by the motor or by the external agency is what? Work done on the fluid plus negative work done. What is that? Negative? Because this is negative. See, efflux due to the other end. This is the negative work done. Negative work. Is it visible here? Shall I write this side? Oh, if I write this side, it won't be in the PDF. Negative work done by the negative work done by the fluid. Earlier is work done on the fluid. This work done by the fluid. So this is negative. By sign convention, it's like that. So what is the work done? Delta W, no, it is W, delta W, net work done. Is what is going to be? Work done on the fluid is what? P1, A1 into, I will call that as delta V. It's the same thing, no? V1 into delta T. A1, V1, P1, I should say, call that as P1. P1 into, I will call, okay, I'll write all of it. P1, A1, V1, delta T minus P2, A2, P2, delta T. So this is what is this? Abhi pehle likha humne. Just now we wrote. It's the volume of the fluid flowing. It is the same always. That side and this side. Volume entering is equal to volume leaving. Because densities are same. So this is nothing but P1 minus P2 into delta V volume. Understood? Clear, understood? So from work energy theorem, what does it say? Work done on a system or work done by the system is responsible for change in the potential energy or the kinetic energy. Something should change there. Yes, here both are changing. If you observe the diagram once, observe the diagram, go up and see. There are different heights. This fluid particle, not fluid particle, fluid element we call fluid element BC is at a height H1. It has accelerated and gone up to a different height. It has gone up to a higher potential, you see, H2. That means what? You are actually pumping water from your low ground level to your overhead tank. That's what you're doing. Okay. So H1 to H2 means height difference has come in. Velocity is also changing. V1 velocity reduced to V2. Yes or no? Therefore, from work energy theorem, the change in the work done or net work done should be equal to, in this case, what? The change in the potential energy plus change in the kinetic energy. Actually, this is gain in potential energy plus, can anybody tell me what is that going to be? Loss in the, because kinetic energy is reduced, no? So we should not say loss, decrease. Decrease in the kinetic energy. Less than 1 minute. Let us log out. Let us log out and log in.